I will be very grateful to you if you subscribe my channel. Please oblige me and hear a new story. In a certain country, there was a shepherd named Ram. One day, while grazing his sheep in the meadow, Ram found a newborn babe under a tree. Being childless, Ram took care of the babe, fed it with the milk of an ewe, and took it home. From then on, the ewe becomes the child's mother, and the child thrived well on her milk. It grew up so amazingly that Ram named it Bhim. The boy lived up to his name. Even at the age of 7, he could pull out medium-sized tree without effort. Ram was glad that his foster son was going to have a bright future. Instead of tending sheep all his life, when Bhim was 14, Ram said to him, "Son, your fame has already separated 100 miles. Why should you waste your time going behind sheep? Visit various countries and make for yourself a name. Earn wealth and be happy." So Bhim started on a tour of the world. He went to several cities and defeated several strong men. The name of Bhim the shepherd spread very far and wide. Some time elapsed. One day, while passing through a jungle on the outskirts of a town, Bhim the shepherd saw a strange person tearing up trees with his bare hands. "What are you doing that for, brother?" Bhim asked the tree tearer. "Bhim the shepherd is coming. I am keeping myself in form to defeat him," the tree tearer replied. "Is that so?" said Bhim. "I am Bhim the shepherd. Let us see your defeat me." Then they started wrestling. Bhim tried to catch the other man by the waist and pull him down, but the other avoided his grasp and ran apart. Then he dashed forward with the intention of kicking Bhim in his chest with both his feet. However, Bhim caught him by the feet and swinging him round, threw him away. As they fought in this manner, the earth shook like a jelly. At last, Bhim managed to grip his rival by the waist and dashed him to the ground with such force that the tree tearer was stuck in the earth of his knees. However, He quickly came up and seizing him, dashed him to the ground. Bhim got stuck in the earth up to his waist. Then Bhim got every wild. He jumped up and catching hold of the tree, terror with all his might dashed him to the ground. The tree-terror got stuck in the earth up to his neck. He could not come up and accepted defeat. Bhim pulled him up and it at his request allowed him to become his disciple and accompany him. They traveled together for some time till they reached a rocky place where they saw a queer person picking up hug stones and crumbling them in his bare hands. Brother, said Bhim, what are you doing that for? Bhim, the shepherd is coming. I am keeping myself in trim to defeat him. The stone crusher replied. Is that so? Said Bhim. I am Bhim, the shepherd. Let us see you defeat me. They began to wrestle, and in a short time the stone cruiser was stuck in the ground up to his neck, begged for mercy and wished to follow him. The three of them wandered together for a very long time. Then they come across a queer man in a certain town. This man was taking lumps of iron and kneading them like dough in his bare hand. What are you doing this for, brothers? Asked him. Bhim, the shepherd is coming. I am giving myself fit in order to defeat him. The iron kneader replied. And Bhim, the shepherd, said Bhim, let us see you defeat me. They fought until Bhim dashed the iron kneader like neck deep into the ground. Then the iron kneader too begged for mercy and offered to follow Bhim as a disciple. With his three disciples, Bhim toured many places until they came to an expensive force. The first day, Bhim asked the tree-terror to cook food for all and went hunting into the forest with his other disciples. While the tree-terror was busy when he was cooking, a very tiny dwarf appeared and said, Sir, I am hungry. Will you give me some food? Nothing doing, said the tree-terror, get out of here. But the dwarf did not go away. He sat at a distance till the cooking was finished. Then he came behind the tree tier, pulled him flat on the ground and sat on his chest while the dwarf went on eating the food. The tree tearer could do nothing about it. After finishing off all the food, the dwarf calmly got up and walked away. The tree tearer was terribly ashamed that he was defeated by a dwarf. He could not tell his companions what had happened. So he began to prepare another meal hastily, but before the meal was ready, his companions returned from the hut. "You have not yet finished cooking?" Bhim asked the tree terrier. "You don't seem to know how to cook." At the next stopping, Bhim asked the stone crusher to stay behind and prepare dinner while he went with the other to hunt in the forest. Again the dwarf arrived, but the stone crusher turned to a shame, and having eaten the entire food, went his way. The stone crusher too was obliged to cook afresh, and the others returned from the hunt before the food was ready. Bhim was dissatisfied with the stone crusher too. The third day he asked the iron cradle to cook food while he went hunting with the others, but the iron cradle fared no better than the others. The dwarf overpowered him and went away, having eaten all food. Bhim was surprised to see that the iron cradle was still preparing the food when he returned. Only the other despite knew the cause for the delay. On the fourth day, however, Bhim stayed behind to cook food while the others went to hunt. He suspected that there was something the others were hiding from him. He wanted to find out what it was. Just he was finishing cooking, the dwarf came and asked for food. Bhim lifted the cooking pot very high and said to the dwarf, "Get going, I am giving you no food." The dwarf tried to jump up and catch Bhim by his throat. Bhim took the dwarf to a huge tree some distance away and tied him up with trunk securely. His disciples returned and found to their surprise that the food was ready. "You must be ashamed of yourself," Bhim admonished them, "to think that you let a pygmy fool you. Strong man, indeed, finish off your food, and I shall show you what I did to him." But when Bhim took them to the tree, there was no tree, there only a huge hole in the ground. There were marks on the ground indicating that a heavy tree had been dragged along by someone. The four of them followed these marks until they came to a huge chasm. Where the mark ended, the Chashma looked bottomless. I must see the end of this affair, Bhim said to his disciples. Lower me in a basket with the help of ropes. Bhim went down and down in the basket till the last he touched the bottom. There he saw fine palaces and lovely gardens. Bhim saw a beautiful girl in a garden. She was perturbed on seeing Bhim and said, What are you doing here? This is the abode of the king of serpent. The 12-headed serpent king will not allow you to go back alive. If he happens to see you, let the serpent king be afraid of meeting me. I am not afraid of him anyway. Who are you? Bhim asked her. I am a princess. The serpent king abducted me and my 3 elder sisters and kept us prisoners here. After the next new moon, he will ask his kin and marry us, the girl replied. While they are talking, the 12-headed serpent king arrived. You vengeful! How dare you came here where I am strong? The serpent king hissed to anger. Now your fate is sealed. At once the serpent king his coils over Bhim and began to squeeze him in a ferocious grip. But Bhim made his body and limbs as rigged as steel. Failing the crushed Bhim to death, the king of serpent viciously thrust his 12-headed hood at Bhim in order to bite him with his poisonous fangs. But Bhim caught hold of the hood in his strong arms and kept it away from him. The serpent king pulled Bhim's hand down with the strength of his coil, but the coil did not get a grip. Now Bhim began to dash the hood of the serpent king against the ground with all his might. Gradually the serpent king began to lose his consciousness and his coil began to slip down from Bhim. Spiraling on the ground weakly, the serpent king begged Bhim to spare him and take him as his disciples. Throw your weight around where you are strong, but if you are trying to come up to our world and behave like a big fellow, I shall crush you like a worm. Beware of Bhim the shepherd, Bhim told the serpent king. Then Bhim rescued the 4 princes from the serpent king and was drawn up along with them by his disciples. Bhim married the princess whom he saw in the garden below, and his disciples married her sisters. They lived happily at their father-in-law's place. The 12-headed serpent king was so scared of Bhim the shepherd that he never dared to show his face again on earth. Friends, this is a story. If you like it, then please subscribe my channel and I will come next time with a new story. Thanks, friends.